Hey, welcome to The Rundown. I'm Victor Lucas, and I've got a lot of great stuff to dive into today, starting with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which is a terrific Star Wars experience. I had a blast reviewing the game. Hope you've checked out that review. I got an interesting comment, though, under that review. It was from Varuna X, who says, it's over $100 Canadian with tax for the regular version. Yikes. And so I was prompted to write a tweet today asking people if these high prices are barriers for most people to jump into this incredible entertainment. And of course, I got a lot of great comments on that. S Club 007 says, I do not want to be that guy, but I remember paying almost $80 Canadian for an 8 megabit Sega Genesis cartridge in 1990. That is like $155 Canadian with inflation. Games haven't gone up that much over the last 30 years, and best part, there are always sales. Corey Carter says, it certainly makes things like Game Pass and PS Plus more attractive to people on the off chance a AAA title makes its way over to it. The thrill of getting a title day one is kind of gone at this stage because it costs so much to buy a game on day one, unless it's an indie title. Ishmael at Nowhere Toward 22 said, I have said for years game publishers really need to watch when they push towards new thresholds. Sony pushed standard MSRP to $89.99, and Square then went above that at $93.49, pushing the post-tax cost above $100. That provides a major psychological barrier for a lot of folks. And yeah, that's the big discussion here, and it's probably too big of a discussion to pop into a rundown, but I wanted to know what you guys think. Are video games too expensive? Are they keeping most people, away from playing this incredible art form and diving in? Or do you think that prices have stayed pretty much the same all the way along, and that we're actually getting a pretty good deal when you consider inflation? Let me know in the comments below. And now we're going to shift over into the movie universe. CinemaCon is wrapping up in Las Vegas, and there have been a lot of big movie announcements, but I think the biggest announcement was the fact that The Flash had such an impressive showing there. Now, first of all, Warner Brothers released a new trailer, actually a couple of trailers, the Japanese one as well, which is pretty cool, and it shows off a lot of interesting footage. And our friend Aaron Caboose had some thoughts on that trailer. He says, dare I say this was one of the best trailers for a comic book movie I have ever seen, in all caps and with multiple question marks. Incredibly excited there. I definitely thought the trailer was pretty damn cool. Lots of great imagery of characters that I love. It was great to see Michael Keaton back in the Batsuit, of course. We've seen that a little bit, but we're getting a lot more of that. It is weird that this is a Flash movie and there are multiple Flashes in the movie, but it feels like they're really pushing Batman. Like this is a Batman movie first, which is a bit odd. But the movie played great, apparently, at CinemaCon, and I got a couple of tweets there. Rob Keyes from Screen Rant says, just watch The Flash at CinemaCon. It has some stuff in it you will not believe, and it showcases much more of Barry Allen's powers. It is indeed one of DC's best and fits nicely as a bridge story between the old and new DCEU franchises. It's also the funniest DC movie. Rob Keyes also went on to say, the way some things play out in The Flash are not what you're expecting. You may think you know, but you don't. And Jermaine Lassier says, yep, The Flash is as good as rumored. It's Back to the Future meets Spider-Man No Way Home with all the humor and heart of the former and action and surprises of the latter, which sounds incredible. If anything, it might be a tad too ambitious, but it's also just incredibly satisfying, heartwarming, and fun. And you see, it's tweets like that and reactions like that that get me fired up to see this movie. But yes, there's still the big shadow of all of the crazy stuff that Ezra Miller has been up to over the last several years, and that's definitely hanging over this, plus the fact that we know that there are a lot of dead ends. You know, we know that characters that we have been seeing on screen, this is it for them, and they're all going to be transformed. And obviously this idea of switching in between a multiverse like we're going to see in The Flash allows for some experimentation and some creativity with that. But it does feel like, are we supposed to be invested in Ben Affleck popping up on screen again in this, thinking that he'll never be Batman again? You know, it's a weird movie, but it sounds like it's also a really, really fun movie. So I am excited to see it. Let me know if you guys are in the comments below. And in other CinemaCon news, news, there was a lot of stuff announced at the big show. Kraven the Hunter, we learned from Sony, is going to be the first R-rated super-powered movie from the studio, and it also sounds like Rhino is going to be the bad guy, although Kraven is also a bad guy. So I'm curious to see how that one turns out, for sure. And Sony also showed off and talked a little bit more about the movie that I'm most looking forward to this summer, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which looks freaking incredible. Can't wait to see this movie. I've actually already bought my first Spider toy. That's the Miles Morales from Across the Spider-Verse right there from Hasbro. Neil Blomkamp is directing a Gran Turismo movie, which is something that I knew about, but I was reminded by from the CinemaCon news. It stars Orlando Bloom and David Harbour, but it's not about the game. It's not a story within the game. It's about a player who's very good at the game who becomes a professional race car driver, which is a true story. It's about a guy named Jan Mardenborough, which is just an awesome idea for a movie for sure. And I'm a big fan of Neil Blomkamp, so I can't wait to see what he does with this. Christopher Nolan was also at CinemaCon, and he had some stuff to show off around his new picture called Oppenheimer, about the creation of the nuclear bomb. It looks like it's going to be harrowing and very powerful, maybe a bit of a hard watch, with an incredible cast, but Christopher Nolan, S-tier director. I'm always excited to see his work. Attendees at CinemaCon also got to see some footage from Aquaman 2 starring Jason Momoa, and it sounds like it's going to be crazier than the first movie. And of course, there was more stuff for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, also a little bit of Timothée Chalamet in not one but two movies. We've got the Willy Wonka movie, just called Wonka, and he's going to be back in Dune 2 this November, which I cannot freaking wait for. That's the movie that I'm most excited about this year. Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling were also at CinemaCon to show off Barbie, which looks like it could actually be pretty cool and pretty fun this year. And Fast X had a big showing up there, and they talked about the legacy of the franchise and the sequel to Fast X, which is going to be coming out in 2025. And that series is always just hard to believe, but also crazy fun. And honestly, from the news coming out of CinemaCon, it feels like the movie industry, the theatrical industry, is very energized. There's been some big hits like Top Gun Maverick and the Super Mario Brothers movie and Avatar: The Way of Water. So it feels like there's a lot of fire in the industry and a lot of entertaining movies headed our way that I cannot wait to review for you guys. And another big movie trailer hit the interwebs today. It's Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, and I'm not familiar with the Beast Wars part of Transformers. I don't know all of these giant robotic animal creations. I didn't watch that, but the movie does look like a little bit of a throwback to the Michael Bay era of the Transformers movies, much more hyper-realistic. The movie does also star Anthony Ramos, who's a terrific actor. I loved him in Hamilton, of course, but in The Heights he was also terrific, and it looks like this movie is going to be stunning to watch with lots of spectacular visual effects. I just hope that the movie kind of hits the right notes and is as fun as it looks like it could be. I think they did a great job with that Bumblebee movie, and I did like some of the Michael Bay stuff, so I'm down to go and see Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed. And there's another big giant robot trailer that launched today. It's Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. We actually got some gameplay this time. From Software is dropping it this August, and it looks very freaking cool. It does look like a refinement and a sort of more high-quality visual representation of the ideas that we got from PS2 and PS3 era Armored Core games. The robot creations look incredible. All the technology just looks mind-blowing. I did want to see how humans are juxtaposed against the size of these giant beasts. You know, I want to see the scale of them. I want to feel like I have all of this massive power at my disposal. From what we see from the gameplay, it looks like it could fit into a lot of other types of third-person shooters out there, and I want this to feel different. I want to feel the lumbering kind of qualities of these mechanized monsters, but it does look damn cool, absolutely. I am psyched to play this. I'm also very happy for From Software to be able to pivot from something as massive as Elden Ring and take us back to something that they kickstarted, you know, these giant robot fighting experiences that were very strategic and very ornately detailed. You can customize everything on these robots, and so I am very hyped to review this one for you guys, and I think that if you are also hyped for this, you may be coveting the collectors and premium editions that are going to be coming out with the game, which are probably going to cost a fortune. They come with little robot models and all kinds of beautiful tributes to the artwork and the design in the game. Looks very, very cool. So can't wait to play Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for the rundown. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you really enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you very soon. Until then, play forever.